Welcome back. Let's take some gloomy news coming out of South Africa today as the country's gross domestic product has expectedly contracted by 1.4% in the fourth quarter of 2019. This is the second consecutive drop after the economy failed to show any signs of positive growth in the quarter before. Speaking to the media today in Pretoria, the Deputy Director General of Statistics South Africa gave the breakdown of the figures as well as the in-depth sectoral contributions. And barely a day after the federal government confirmed the first case of coronavirus in Nigeria, owners of pharmaceutical stores and supermarkets began to exploit the situation as prices of face masks and hand sanitizers were increased between 150% and 300%. During the Ebola epidemic of 2014, the price of hand sanitizers spiked by over 500% and suddenly crashed after Nigeria was declared Ebola-free. Let's talk to Aisat Dawood, who is a research analyst at the financial derivatives company, to tell us more about this increase in the price of hand sanitizers. Good afternoon, Aisat. Well, during the Ebola epidemic in 2014, the price of hand sanitizers spiked by over 500% and suddenly crashed after the country was declared Ebola-free. Of course, many speculators lost their shirts. Is this current sharp increase in the price of this commodity similar to the past, or is this different in any way?
As we speak today, coronavirus is present in 74 countries, 50 nations plus. Even WHO, they've upgraded the global risks associated with this disease to be very high. So the increased demand is up by 1,400%. That's alarming, very, very alarming. And the major driver of this is the global scare and the effect of it. If the price of this should fall, and let's go back to 2014 when we had Ebola issue. We had similar spike in price also. The fear of, the outbreak is going to be very contagious, it's airborne and this. So all these things are the ones, getting us this abnormal price increase, intense demand. If the demand can continue to increase further, we should be expecting further increase in price.
Price of a hand sanitizer now,
the global
if you can
impact
find
also is not as significant.
All right, so let's talk about the price of a sanitizer now. It's about 1,500 for 100 ml. Is this upward trend likely to continue? And are there any substitutes, or what do you expect to happen in this market?
So, like I said, Ebola had a minimal global impact on the global economy, unlike coronavirus is having on us now. Coronavirus is affecting the global economy seriously. Upward trend in price, if the outbreak should continue, we would have upward trend in price. But however, now we have improved awareness, increased awareness that is above the marginal spread of the virus. So I can tell you the price of hand sanitizer, the commodity, is going to drop if the demand rate to fall.
All right, many thanks. Aisat Dawood, a research analyst at the financial derivatives company. Moving on now, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development warns that the coronavirus outbreak is plunging the world economy into its worst downturn since the global financial crisis. The organization has asked government and central banks to fight back to avoid an even steeper slump. The OECD, in an update of its outlook, says the global economy is set to grow only 2.4% this year, and that's the lowest since 2009, and down from an earlier forecast of 2.9% in November. The Paris-based Policy Forum projects the global economy could recover to 3.3% in 2021, and that's assuming the epidemic peaked in China in the first quarter of this year and other outbreaks proved mild and contained. However, the OECD says if the virus spreads throughout Asia, Europe, and North America, global growth could drop as low as 1.5% this year. Activity in Egypt's non-oil private sector remained in contraction during the month of February as output fell for the seventh consecutive month, albeit at a slower rate. The Purchasing Managers Index for the non-oil sector expanded to 47.1 in February from 46.0 in January, but still remained below the 50.0 threshold that separates growth from contraction. Sub-indexes for output and new orders, which account for over half the index weighting, both improved month-on-month but remained below the 50.0 mark amid general weakness in demand and soft labor market conditions. The volume of export orders fell for the fifth consecutive month in February, coming in at 39.4, a slight improvement from 38.5 in January, but still one of the fastest rates of decline since data collection began in April 2011. Well, let's turn now to Kenya, where the central bank says it plans to buy $100 million every month between March and June to increase the country's foreign reserves. The Central Bank of Kenya adds that it will purchase a minimum of $1 million from banks at prevailing rates in each deal. The Director of Financial Markets Department at the Central Bank, William Ngaka, says the aim is to bolster the bank's preparedness to deal with the heightened global volatility and uncertainties. And more from Kenya now. This time, the National Treasury says the risk of taxpayers shouldering big loans borrowed by parastatals is worrisome. This comes after the Treasury says it was forced to pay 1.3 billion shillings on behalf of Free State corporations that were in distress in the last financial year. The National Treasury reveals in the 2020 budget policy statement that the outstanding government guaranteed debt grew to 159.4 billion shillings by June the 30th, 2019, despite not having issued any new guarantees. Well, now gold prices rose for a third straight session today, and that's as expectations grew for monetary policy easing by major central banks to cushion the economic fallout from the fast-spreading coronavirus outbreak. Spot gold climbed by 0.5% to $1,597.66 an ounce, while U.S. gold futures advanced 0.3% to $1,599.10 an ounce. Among other precious metals, now palladium gained 1% to $2,548.36 an ounce, and platinum rose 1.5% to $872.95 an ounce, and silver was up 1.3% at $16.94 an ounce. Well, let's remind you, just before we go, about the news coming from South Africa now, that the country's gross domestic product has expectedly contracted by 1.4% in the fourth quarter of 2019. Now, this is the second consecutive drop after the economy failed to show any signs of positive growth in the quarter before. Speaking to the media today, the Deputy Director General of Statistics South Africa, Joe de Beer, gave the breakdown of the figures and also the in-depth of sectoral contributions. And that's where we end today's program. Thank you for watching. I am Bisi Adebayo.